This is the Cape Fear River near my hometown of Wilmington, North Carolina. Wind is really ferocious today. A lot of whitecaps on the river. And I am hiking the Sugarloaf Trail in Carolina Beach State Park. Hey everyone, it's around 10 a.m. Monday, December the 24th, Christmas Eve. And today I'm hiking most of the trails in Carolina Beach State Park, North Carolina. I grew up around 20 minutes from here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and came here quite a few times as a kid. But I think we only did the same thing every time we came out here. We would park at the Marina, hike the Sugarloaf Trail to the Sugarloaf Dune, play on the dune, run around, do some sandboarding, turn around, usually go check out the swamps on the Swamp and Flytrap Trails, try to find some venomous plants, see if we can find an alligator or two, which I don't think we ever did, and then return to the Marina. But there's over 9 miles of trails here, and I've only explored half of them, so I thought I'd finally do it while I'm back home for the holidays. So earlier, I came up the Sugarloaf Trail. Already did an out and back on the Swamp Trail and Flytrap Trail. I'm gonna put those videos after this. I didn't film a intro segment earlier because the sun was really brutal, really tough to film any sort of video, and right now it's a little bit tough. No matter what angle I try to stand and hold the phone. I'm not really complaining. It's a beautiful day, crystal blue skies out here. Gonna be around 45 to 50 degrees, even though it's the first week of winter, and I'm not complaining. The only thing is, as I get close to the river, which I am now, the wind's gonna pick up around 15 to 25 miles an hour. And when I started my hike, wind chill was pretty cold. I'd say it's around 35 degrees. Luckily, it's warming up quickly. I just didn't bring anything home for Christmas because it was supposed to be a nice week. Just a windbreaker and a pullover fleece. But it'll have to do. Currently on the Oak Toe River Trail, about to get out to the overlook on this little point. Should be an excellent view, but it's going to come after my segments along the Swamp and Flytrap Trail. Hope you enjoyed this hike today. Really nice area, this state park. Glad it's here, right in the middle of where I live. And honestly, I wish I got out here more as a kid. Beautiful piece of driftwood. Except for this little graffiti. Almost perfectly white. Oak Toe Trail ends at this river overlook dock / boardwalk or whatever. Riding pretty low. I imagine it hasn't been fully fixed from Hurricane Florence, but it seems stable. And you could probably hear the wind howling. A lot colder when you are exposed to the Cape Fear River. Beautiful day out here though. I actually think this part of the Oak Toe Trail is more interesting than the sections that hug the river on this narrow strip of sand. You can hear the river to the left, obviously. On the other side is a large brackish marsh separating this strip of sand from the mainland. The Sugarloaf Trail is over there. but it's just a really nice coastal sand dune forest with these small little trees. And you can see the sand is really white. That's why the dune coming up is called the Sugarloaf Dune, because to colonials, or whenever it was named, it resembled a giant mound of sugar. Really beautiful area beside the Oak Toe Trail. Nice little sandy beach. If you've been wondering what those two massive cranes are, that is the port for Sunny Point, and Army Military Weapons Depot that is kind of a secret place. This is the top of Sugarloaf Dune. Information board says it is 55 feet in elevation, and it was named in 1663. I also forgot to mention that this whole area was part of Fort Fisher in the Civil War, a Confederate stronghold, Confederate port stronghold. And this was used as earthworks for defense, along with many other big dunes on Pleasure Island. There's a interesting old barge down here. Wonder how long that's been there. There's that barge in the distance, or what I called a barge, because there are some posts sticking up. Could have been an old dock or overlook that was too badly damaged in some hurricane, and now it's just sitting there rusting away. Before I hike too far, let me show you the state park map. I think every North Carolina state park provides free paper maps at the trail, and that's really all you need, unless you're doing some off-trail navigation. Parked at the Marina, which is basically at the junction of the Cape Fear River and Snow's Cut, which is part of the intercoastal waterway that separates Pleasure Island from the mainland. Followed the Sugarloaf Trail, then did the Swamp Trail out and back to the Flytrap Trail loop. Returned, did the Sugarloaf Trail up to the Oak Toe Trail, and this is the location of Sugarloaf Dune, and that's basically the extent of what I've hiked in the past as a kid. Now I'm heading south on the Sand Live Oak Trail, which is another loop, and that should pass over the high point of the island and the Sand Live Oak Dune, which is a much bigger dune on the map than the Sugarloaf Dune, at least the topo map. Then I'm going to continue the Sugarloaf Trail past these small ponds and pick up the campground trail, and basically follow the campground trails and these rows to do out and backs on the track trail and the Snow's Cut Trail. I'm hoping those two trails have nice views of the intercoastal there before I return on the Sugarloaf Trail to the Marina. Nice beach here. And just above this, you can see how the sand live oak trail gets its name. Really great grove of live oak trees at the corner of this loop. These are probably the largest trees I've seen in the park so far. Pretty impressive, just considering the type of environment they're growing in. I'm entering a really incredible stretch of white sand on both sides of the trail. I believe this is the beginning of the massive sand live oak dune. Let me show you the other side. This is what the coast and the coastal islands would look like if there weren't a bunch of roads, surf shops, and beach houses. Really enjoying this white sand trail. I should hike in coastal state parks more in the winter. This is very pleasant. Summer is often miserable. So humid, so many bugs. This is Cypress Pond off of the Sand Live Oak Trail, and I've never been here before. It's an impressive size. You know, it's just a small blue thing on the map, but it's a lot bigger in person. And I just took a little taste of the water, just licking my finger, and it doesn't taste salty. This could be a freshwater pond, which could mean there are alligators in here. So this could be a good place to return to in the spring, summer, and fall months when the gators are out, and see if you can find any. Just don't go swimming in here. I'm on the Sugarloaf Trail, correcting a mistake from earlier. I said the previous pond was Cypress Pond, but I was still on the Sand Live Oak Trail, and there's nothing on that trail that's labeled. The main reason because we are passing through U.S. military property across from the Sunny Point base. So I'm guessing they don't want people to explore that large pond. So I'm at the real Cypress Pond, and you can see that there's clearly a difference. Lots of small cypress trees in the middle. And I would think there would be some alligators in this one too. This is grass pond. See the difference? There are grasses, while the other one had cypress. Very creative names. Last but not least, Lily Pond. And you can clearly see lilies in the water there. And I guarantee you there are alligators in this. Maybe not big because of the size of the pond, but this area is ripe for gators. Really peaceful. I'm on the Sugarloaf Trail still, at the junction with the campground trail, and I've decided I'm going to skip that section of the park, using the campground trail to connect with the Snows Cut and track trail. It's already 12:30, and I think that would add an extra 4 miles or so. I'm not sure my parents would appreciate me spending half of the afternoon here when I could just finish up and return now. So I need to tell you about the forest before it gets too late and I finish the hike. I started along the Cape Fear River, going through the tidal brackish marshes with a diversion to the tidal cypress gum swamp of the Flytrap Trail. But for most of the day, I've been traveling through the higher inland elevations of an ancient sand dune forest, which is comprised of a coastal fringe sandhill forest, which is mostly those short and tall live oaks you saw earlier, and smaller turkey oaks, and a coastal evergreen forest, which I'm currently in. This is a Longleaf Savanna, which is longleaf pines with sparse understory of tall grasses and other shrubs. Pretty interesting area. It's something you don't really see because of so much development around the coastal areas of North Carolina. It's pretty fun to walk through. Boardwalk on the Sugarloaf Trail over a tidal cypress gum swamp. This is a much better example of this swamp than I saw on the Flytrap Trail. Much bigger cypress trees too. You can see there's kind of a boundary up ahead. I don't know if that's still swamp or it's the beginning of a brackish marsh. Back at the Marina, finished up the hike in around 3.5 hours. Turns out I hiked around 7.5 miles. Pretty surprising, but I did a bushwhack in there, which I didn't show you, to the top of a dune, kind of outside the boundary of the park, and a lot of backtracking. And it's actually fortunate I didn't try doing the campground trail, because the other half of the trail, which I would have done the return leg on, was actually closed. And I wouldn't have found that out until I was coming back, so it would have made my hike even longer than 4-something miles, probably closer to 5.5. I imagine that trail was badly damaged during Hurricane Florence, and they just haven't gotten to it yet because it's not one of the more popular trails. But this turned out to be a great day on Christmas Eve. Perfect weather, perfect skies. And I really enjoyed hiking some of the new areas in the state park I haven't been to before, and kind of want to check out some of the other coastal state parks in the near future. So I hope you enjoyed this really long island beach video. Wasn't expecting it to be this long, but it was good scenery. So see you guys on my next trip.